Think about this. Who reads blogs anymore? Seriously. Nobody. Nobody really reads blogs anymore. The only time people use and consume blog content, read it, is when they find it as a result of a search query, and that is often because they don't find a video out there that satisfies that search intent better. But by and large, nobody is like, oh my gosh, I follow this blog, let me check and see what's happening on this blog. Nobody is following that content, and nobody is really sharing that content. And for that reason, I say blogging is dead. As a standalone business model, blogging is dead. And by standalone business model, I'm talking about your traditional affiliate blogs that publish a lot of content. Sometimes it's very good and very high quality. Oftentimes it's low quality garbage, but it just is out there on a blog to satisfy search intent and ultimately capture users and subsequently drive them to their affiliate products or whatever they're promoting, or sometimes just serve display ads and monetize in that way. And that business model, and I don't even want to call it a business model, I'll call it that income stream, or that model of affiliate marketing, blogging, has been around for the last 15 or 20 years at this point. But going forward, and for the last few years, going forward, it has been on the decline substantially. And I back that up with the point I make in the first question: who reads blogs anymore? And chances are you probably don't, or maybe as a marketer in the internet business, you do, I do kind of. But people that are not into marketing and people that do not follow the blogging as a business model type of concept don't read anymore. And I think about, my mom, my girlfriend, my friends. These people don't read blogs, right? They just follow other content. They consume content and they get driven to affiliate products, but they don't actually read blogs anymore. So in this video here, I wanted to talk a little bit more about that in depth and talk about how to win with a content website. Because blogging is straight up dead, and I'm going to talk about my experience with it here. Now, let's just broadly talk about my experience with internet business. I've been in the internet business space since 2009 when I started in e-commerce business selling motorcycle parts. I sold it in 2012. In between now and then, I've owned and acquired means bought a lot of businesses, a lot of offline home service businesses that I've grown with online marketing. And I've got that 2 Comma Club award up there over my shoulder. Hopefully it looks like I'm pointing at it right now, that I've earned. And fundamentally, I love paid advertising. I've done a lot with blogging and content style websites, but the real big money in my life has truthfully been done or earned, generated through paid advertising. That said, all throughout the course of my career, going back to 2009, so I'm recording this on December 31st, New Year's Eve 2022, 13 or 14 years at this point, there has been content and blogging content happening. So I've got a ton of experience with it. I have flipped websites before. That is not, a primary focus of mine, but I have done that. And over the last year and a half, I spent a lot of money on growing a blog. So when we come back to, I say I love paid ads, I do this for multiple businesses, but one of my businesses is lead generation. So running paid ads, generating leads, selling them. And then I also run paid ads for other businesses that I own and am involved with that is not, so online. Anyways, for one of my lead generation businesses, I decided to make a huge investment into content and build a big content website. And I was just publishing a lot of blog posts on topics that had search volume. So keyword research, identify keywords, publish content. And over this period here from about August 2021 till now, I published, I don't know what the number is, but about 1,000, probably a little bit more than 1,000 blog posts. And you can see the trend. And you can see it was in August we started and boom, nothing happened until December. Then things started going up and I'm like, wow, this is great, right? This is what I really wanted to do by publishing the content and ultimately building a blog. And then the updates, and I don't know all the updates names, an update happened, we dropped, then we came back and I'm like, okay, this is great. We came back stronger than ever. Then we dropped, and you can see the pattern. We kind of came back and then ultimately here's where we are. And this is fundamentally a blog as a business model, or a blog that's used to generate income, capture traffic, promote affiliate products, and or primarily in this case, our lead generation offers, which are like affiliate products. There's not a product. The product is capturing the user's information and ultimately selling that. We get paid, we get paid by that, but we ultimately need to drive a user to take an action. So affiliate marketing and lead generation are fundamentally the same things, just different different angles at the same thing, and that is driving user behavior to take an action that you're ultimately compensated for. So anyways, all of this content here, and I spent, I don't know, probably over $100,000 on this, was used, or was blog content. That's what I'm saying. So it was just simply publish a lot of content on the website for the search topics, build a big, massive blog. And you can see, it took off, it was working, but it was not sustainable and it didn't hold up. And I know that there were a lot of other people this year that ran blogs as businesses in this way, and they published a lot of good content in a blog form that ultimately did not hold up and didn't stand the test of time or the test of 2022. So I think as blog business operators or content website operators, we really need to shift gears, and I am shifting my gears to build something bigger than this that is not just a blog. Now, I'll also show you this example here. One of my local brands, this is the Search Console and subsequently the impressions and traffic. You can see it doesn't get a ton, but this is a local business. It's sustainable. And notice I put the word brands in these, not quotes, but whatever you call these things here. And this is a big concept behind my approach now to building content websites that are not just blogs, and that is to build a brand. So as we'll go on, what wins? Because clearly just publishing a lot of blog content out there doesn't win. Maybe that's you. Maybe you have a site that has performed like this in 2022, right? What wins? And that is not just publishing a lot of blog content, even if it's good blog content. Because, and I talk about this in some of my other videos here, my blog posts were not just cheap blog posts. I was hiring expert writers. Some of the blog posts were like 5,000 words. What else? We'd get custom graphics done for them. I mean, they were really nice, like Brian Dean level blog posts, but you can see how that worked out for me. That has not worked out for me here. I've wasted a lot of money. Now, fundamentally, because I have other business interests and my business grows through paid advertising, this was not a material amount to me. I mean, it kind of stings, right? But I don't really lose sleep at all over it. It doesn't impact my life. It was just the course of business and one thing I tried that has not worked out so well yet. And I'm going to keep working on it here. But my big point is this was not shitty content that I was publishing. It was good, but clearly it didn't hold up. And I guess one other thing I'll touch on here is the 5,000 word posts. 5,000 word posts now, in my experience, are not necessary at all. Because think about this. It takes to read about 800 words, an 800 word script would turn into about in 6 to 8 minute video, right? So that's kind of a long time when you think about it. So if you think about 1,000 words at that pace, that's like an hour-long video. Like, who the fuck watches that? Nobody does. Shorter and deeper is, or not shorter and deeper, but yeah, shorter and deeper, but not too short. I'd say around that 1,000 word plus or minus count can be competitive for anything. So I've really cut out doing the long form content, but that's supplemented with a lot of other stuff here that I'm going to be talking about. So what wins? Clearly not long form content, as I've explained, and that is a multi-channel content brand. So you have a blog, you have a podcast, maybe you have a YouTube, maybe you have social, like TikTok, Insta, Facebook. All right, so let's break these down a little bit to talk about how they all fit and work together. And I've got another video where I kind of speak about this that you might find helpful and insightful too, and that might have further insights and anecdotes than what I give here. But our objective here is not just to have a blog and not just to publish those 1,000 word blog posts times 1,000 or times 2,000 and publish a ton of content out there. We want to publish a ton of content, right? That's good, but we also want to supplement that and build this multi-channel content brand. And that is creating content on platforms that people are more regularly consuming. So let's just go through them all here, breaking down. Blog content satisfies search traffic or satisfies search users, right? And that is really the only time that I see that you should actually publish a blog post, is if it satisfies people that are searching. Because if we go back to this question, who reads a blog anymore? No one. And no one's reading it. And if no one's searching for it, nobody's going to read it. So it's just a useless piece of content that is out there on the web. But that said, your blog posts are often what really have the most income earning potential, because people can just click the link right from the blog post. If you publish YouTube videos, well, YouTube is now displaying in Google search in that kind of method where it does like a light box and it really only shows the video and not your description. Same thing if you're publishing, say, Instagram Reels or TikTok videos or YouTube Shorts, right? Your link is not immediately visible, whereas in blog content, it is visible. So blog content is very valuable in that method, but fundamentally no one is consuming it unless they are searching for it. And then there's podcasts. Podcasts work great for followers and retaining followers. They subscribe to your podcast, they get it in their podcast feed. They can listen to it when they're driving, like a lot of people do. Some people listen while they're working. In the, how should I say it? The like synchronous. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but basically how the podcasts just kind of keep playing, right? You listen to one, it automatically plays the next one in the reel. That is very good for retaining and serving content to your followers that might be interesting to them, but nobody's thinking about it or they're not searching for it. So they wouldn't go out and look for that content. So it's not going to work good for a blog, but it would work good in a podcast and it would engage your followers for that. YouTube for engaging content, kind of like a podcast, but this is a little bit more viral or more shareable and more consumable. Maybe not consumable, but maybe more, it can be easier consumed by the masses, right? More appealing to the masses because YouTube's highly engaging. You know what it's like when you open up one video on YouTube and then next thing you know, you've got 10 tabs of YouTube videos to watch and it just keeps exponentially growing. YouTube's highly engaging like that. So engaging content that you create in a video can be found and it can also be followed. It can also be shared. It can really capture a huge, huge audience very, very quickly. That's the other thing. Blogging takes forever. Podcasting can reach your audience fast. YouTube can reach your audience fast. The algorithm works and serves it faster, and it serves it in multiple ways. Now, why would you create a YouTube video and not a podcast? Or why would you create a podcast and not a YouTube video? Good question. Simple reason being it's easy to make the podcast, whereas it's not easy to make a YouTube video. But that said, one of the ways that I'm looking into doing this, because I don't want to be making the videos myself, and I'm not a good video editor by any stretch of the imagination, is the faceless YouTube channel type of content. And, I'm not trying to build an entire faceless YouTube channel brand or faceless YouTube channel as a standalone business model, but rather it's just one part of the multi-channel content brand. So that's one way of doing it. And I'm finding it's cheaper to do a YouTube video than it is to write a long form content piece and get a bunch of graphics put in there. Yeah. And then social. So this is going to be your Instagram Reels, TikTok Reels, I don't know what TikTok has. I don't use TikTok, but Instagram Reels, TikTok, if you're using that, YouTube Shorts, those types of things to expand your audience. They're going to get people more familiar with your brand. So that way, when they are doing a search query and they find your blog or they find your YouTube channel, like, oh, I've seen this guy before. Let's watch this. Let me consume this in full and let me hit that subscribe button, right? And when you do that, when you do all of these things together, you build that multi-channel content brand. And those multi-channel content brands are what stand the test of time and do not do this. Okay? When you've actually got a brand, the traffic stays stable. You don't have to worry about it. The search traffic does, because Google wants to reward the best brands or the best ultimate content creators. And if all you're doing is just publishing blog content, you're probably not the best content creator. Let's be real. No matter how good of a writer you are, you're not the best content creator. And you're probably not the best result that Google wants to serve. So for that reason, my big focus is on building a multi-channel content brand. Now, how do I tie this all in together? Well, let's just kind of go back to these slides here. For blogs, or when there's a topic that has search traffic, I publish a blog on it, right? But further than that, I can, if I want to be low cost about it, I can record a podcast. I can either do that myself, talking into my microphone like this, or I can outsource it. I can write a script, or somebody else can write the script, and then I can have somebody just read the script. So it's almost like a faceless podcast. Or I can create the YouTube. And for this business here, I'm probably going to be doing both of those. Okay. And then also coming back to social, create, for each topic that you come up with, create some type of social post. So rather than going with a million blog posts or 1,000 blog posts, I am going to be working on still doing a lot of blog posts, but for each one of them having some type of multimedia content, right? Like when I do a blog, I'm going to be thinking now, can I do a podcast about this or can I do a YouTube, right? Pick one. And then what am I going to be doing on social? And, admittedly, it's hard to do these things on social because you don't see the immediate feedback, but it all builds itself up. So enough of me just talking in theory. I'm going to show you one example or two examples here that I love to show. The first one is this one here, Pew Tactical, right? And when you look at them, they are fundamentally a content website that is monetized by affiliate links and probably display ads somewhere in here, right? Yeah, this is interesting. Anyways, I am not a big gun fan. I don't care about guns at all. This is just a good website. I have gone shooting. It interests me for like 15 minutes and then I'm kind of bored with it. So yeah, I'm just not a real big gun guy. But if you're into guns, like that's totally cool. I'm not anti-gun. Let me just clarify that. I'm not anti-gun. It's just guns aren't for me. Like I love mountain biking and trail running. You probably don't love mountain biking and trail running. That's cool, right? Anyways, this is a great website because they've got all the affiliate content on here as a blog, right? And clearly this is targeting the best AR-10 calibers. But then they've also got a banging YouTube channel. And I don't know. Yeah, you can see some of it right here, but we can go to it. They've got a YouTube channel, which has $281,000, not dollars, subscribers. So this thing's doing well, and they're supplementing all of this content with it. And then they've got their social right here. Now, fundamentally, what works, right? Like what's driving the revenue here? I would say that probably 90% of the revenue comes from people clicking the links on the blog, or I don't know if you call this a blog, but content website. But what is getting the traffic is the fact that they've got the YouTube videos and the Instagram. This is a big factor in why they get traffic and why it's sustainable. Yeah, they have gone down a little bit. This is normal, but if we were to pull my site up in SEMrush and a lot of other big content blogs that are blogs only, the traffic goes to zero, right? So some volatility is little, but I don't think anybody is having a lifestyle change on this website going from 2 million to 1 million visitors a month. They probably certainly had a revenue haircut. Maybe not, right? Maybe their YouTube traffic generates revenue, right? And maybe their Instagram traffic generates revenue too. So maybe the revenue haircut is not quite 50%. But fundamentally, this website will be around for a while because they've built a brand. Oh, another cool thing. Check this out. I love to always look at this. Their top organic keywords right here, their top 4 are their brand name. Like that is fucking beautiful. That is so beautiful because people are actively seeking out their website and their brand. Like that is something that will stand the test of time and do well, right? And they're not just doing a traditional content website or traditional blog. Same thing. I found this one here and just typed in dog training. That's kind of my go-to when I need an example. Found this. Okay, so they've got courses and stuff, but they've got a blog. There's the blog, but they've got YouTube and podcast as well. And I don't know how they're doing in organic search. Let's just see. The big thing is, though, is that they've built the multi-channel content brand. It's got a typo in there. Surprisingly, they're not doing as well as I thought. Right? So they have kind of gone down. Doesn't make this a good example, right? No, who knows what level of blogging they're doing. And looking at this, it doesn't seem like they publish a lot of keyword-based content. So this is really not, I'd say, a true blog one. This seems more like this person publishes content on whatever topics they feel like are relevant, as opposed to being a big keyword generating blog. Yeah, that's what this seems like here. But fundamentally, they're doing great because they've got the YouTube and the podcast, which, in their case, maybe making them a ton of money. Probably is making them a ton of money. And if they were to make a more concerted effort to keyword-based blog content, I have no doubt that their traffic would rip-roar up. But they've got the blog, they've got the podcast, they've got the YouTube, probably have some social out there going on. Let's see what they're doing on Insta. What they doing on Insta? Yeah, they got a little social on Insta, right? So it's not non-existent. But fundamentally, I'm just going to end it on this note here. Where's the right slideshow? There's the right slideshow. Blogging is dead. Nobody reads blogs. If you want to build a content website and earn affiliate income, right? Or if you just want to build a content hub to drive whatever business model, you have to think deeper than a blog, and you need to build a multi-channel content brand. Those are some examples, guys. If you know any other good examples of websites and businesses out there that are building multi-channel content brands, I know there's a bunch of them out there. It's not just these two that I showed you. Let me know in the comments below. I hope you found this video helpful and insightful. If you did, be sure to do me a sweet one. You know the drill. Hit that like button and do yourself a sweet one. Hit the subscribe button. I'm signing off on this vid.